Today we are going to be reading a second-hand account about Malala. Remember, yesterday we read a first-hand account. That means that Malala herself wrote the book. Today, however, our book is called Malala, Activist for Girls' Education, and it is written by Raphael Freire and illustrated by Aurelia Fronti. Malala is born at dawn in 1997. She is the first child of Ziauddin Yousafzai and Torpakai. They live in the large city of Mingora, which spreads out across the depths of the Swat Valley in Pakistan. Their home is across the street from a school for girls that Ziauddin founded, the Kushal School. Malala's father is not sorry that his child is a girl, as some new fathers in their country might be. Ziauddin is very fond of his Pashtun people, but he is not as fond of some of their traditions. Ziauddin asks friends and family to throw dried fruits, candies, and coins into her cradle, as they would for a boy. Malala loves her grandfather's village, way up in the mountains, far from the pollution in Mingora. There, the water in the lakes and waterfalls is pure. The nuts are abundant, and the honey is delicious. In the winter, people make snow bears. But Malala does not love all the village stories, like the one about Shahida, who was sold to an old man for marriage. In the Pashtun Mountains, even more than in the city, men are the ones who are visible in society and the workplace, while women must stay at home and they must obey the men. Most women, like Malala's mother, cannot read or write. The video is about to pause and ask you this question. How do you think the author got the information that they wrote on this page? Malala likes to climb up on the roof at home in Mingora so she can listen to the sounds of the city, the chatter of the birds, and the words of her father talking about politics with his friends while they drink cardamom tea. They talk about how the Taliban, a powerful and violent political group, has set another school on fire. Malala's father and his friends hate that the Taliban want students to study strict, very conservative interpretations of the Quran. They call the Taliban an ignorant group and worry that it will cause terrible problems. People stop dancing. Beauty parlors close. Men stop shaving because the Taliban requires that beards are worn. Women's bodies and faces are covered by burqas, long cloth garments that flow from head to toe. The Taliban is on patrol. Taliban members arrest people who disobey them and whip or kill people if they resist the new rules. Ziauddin is afraid, but he dares to disagree. He allows Malala to speak out against the Taliban in a September 2008 speech covered by newspapers and television stations. There she asks, "How dare the Taliban take away my basic right to education?" She is only 11 years old. As 2008 ends, the Taliban announces another ban. Girls no longer have the right to go to school as of January 15th, 2009. The video is about to pause and ask you this question. Are the details on this page facts or opinions? How can they stop us from going to school? Malala is upset. Her friends are angry too. They have already blown up hundreds of schools and no one has done anything. Then an opportunity arrives. Malala is recruited to write about girls' education. Her first blog post, written under the pseudonym Gul Mackay, appears on the British Broadcasting Corporation's website. The video is about to pause and ask you this question. Why is Malala so upset? Malala doesn't get discouraged. Although she is not yet 14, she is already an important person in her country. She continues to write her blog and fight for girls' right to an education. Malala is often invited to speak and receive lots of assistance for her campaign. The Pakistani government awards her the first ever National Youth Peace Prize. By 2011, Malala is so successful she is able to create an educational fund. It helps her and those who support her work. But her family is threatened by the Taliban. The militant group does not like her father's schools or Malala's activism. The video is about to pause and ask you this question. What was Malala awarded? On October 9, 2012, Malala is riding home on the school bus. It stops suddenly. A man shouts to the driver, "Is this the Kushal school bus?" A second man enters the bus and yells, "Who is Malala?" Nobody answers, but some students look at their friend. It is obvious who Malala is. She is the only one who has taken off her headscarf on the bus. One of the men shoots Malala 3 times. Everyone screams. 2 other girls are hurt. Malala slumps forward into her best friend's lap. The bus driver speeds to the nearest hospital in Swat. The Pakistani president, along with other politicians and famous Muslims, condemns the assassination attempt. The Taliban claims responsibility. Malala is not doing well. Her father wishes out loud that he could take her place. The doctors and the government decide to accept an offer for Malala to be treated at a hospital in Birmingham, England. Malala must go alone because it is too dangerous for her father to leave her mother and brothers alone in Pakistan. She is confused when she wakes in England, but she speaks on the phone to her parents. Finally, her family arrives. Letters and gifts are sent all over the world. After several operations and a lot of time to heal, Malala takes classes in Birmingham. The Taliban doesn't silence Malala. She keeps fighting for education rights. There are more than 5 million children in Pakistan who don't have the right to go to primary school. Most of them are girls. Malala emphasizes with young girls in other countries, such as Afghanistan, Nigeria, and Nepal, who live where education for girls isn't valued. Many people believe that women should stay at home to watch the younger children, cook, do housework, and get water from the wells. Girls are often required to marry at a very young age. Many families believe that only boys should have jobs. Malala disagrees with these ideas. The video is about to pause and ask you this question. Would other people know that there are 5 million children in Pakistan who don't have the right to go to primary school? Or is that a detail that only Malala would know? On Malala's 16th birthday, July 12, 2013, hundreds of people from around the world hear her speak at the United Nations in New York City. Malala wears a shawl that belonged to Benazir Bhutto, a Pakistani prime minister who was assassinated. I am here to speak up for the right of education of every child. I want education for the sons and daughters of the Taliban and all the terrorists and extremists. She speaks about Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela, and Mahatma Gandhi. Poverty, ignorance, injustice, racism, and the deprivation of basic rights are the main problems faced by both men and women. She speaks about women's rights and girls' education. There was a time when women's social activists asked men to stand up for their rights, but this time we will do it by ourselves. Malala puts hope in hearts and tears in eyes. One child, one teacher, one pen, and one book can change the world. The next year, Malala receives the Nobel Peace Prize. At 17, she is the youngest person ever to receive this prestigious award. The Nobel Peace Prize gives Malala wings. She visits Syrian refugee camps in Lebanon. She supports school projects in Nigeria, and more. Malala has been known worldwide ever since the United Nations designated July 12, 2013, her 16th birthday, as Malala Day. The day celebrates that every child should have the right to go to school, to learn, to write and count, and to know the happiness of reading freely. The video is about to pause and ask you this question. What rights does Malala Day celebrate? Please make sure you click the blue arrow to answer the questions after the video. There you will find your key word for the day.